This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
At Amica Insurance, we know it's more than just a car. It's the two-door coupe that was there for your first drive, the hatchback that took you cross-country and back, and the minivan that tackles the weekly carpool. For the cars you couldn't live without, trust Amica Auto Insurance. Amica. Empathy is our best policy.
You know, some people say that Odoo business management software is like fertilizer, the way it promotes growth and all. But other people say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. And there's some people who would even say Odoo's individual software programs come together to build the perfect suite like building blocks. Well, Odoo is all of these things. Fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. So sign up now at odoo.com. ODOO.com.
That could be the call I've been waiting for.
Oh, by all means, please take it.
I'm going to get a call someday that's going to change my life. The problem is I don't know when the call's coming, who it's coming from, and what it's about. But this could be the one. It's a St. Paul number, just in case you're wondering.
We'll miss you. We'll really miss you.
Well, you can talk about mediocrity all you want, but there's a lot of people that like mediocrity, apparently.
Well, I guess we'll find out. There's still 2 hours to go of this.
Yeah, and... Rosen comes in, and then I just mail it in at that point. Of course, I already have been mailing it. Sorry about that. We really mail it in. Double delivery is what we do. It's time now for 534.
Time now for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Question number 1.
Time now for an in-depth look at the state of hockey.
How am I doing so far?
Pretty good, but now you have to ask a question.
Common man, the Minnesota Wild lose last night 3-1 in Dallas. Declan Chisholm blocked a shot early in the game and did not return. Another defenseman hurt. Jonas Brodin did not play. Common, the Wild, your thoughts?
What I do like is I didn't think you were going to ask a full question. You did. That was allowed me to eat my lunch. You've already learned. Yeah, I'm eating. Yeah, well, because
you're eating your lunch.
We'll always eat lunch at this time every day. I don't get a lunch break. I can't help it that people eat lunch between noon and 1.
You could eat. Don't you eat before 11 or between 11 and 12?
When do people eat lunch?
Well, some people. I ate mine at 11:30.
That was a mistake. You should have waited till now. You had plenty of time.
What about the first half hour of the show? It was a press conference.
I had to listen closely. If I leave here and go warm up the food, I miss what might have been a controversial answer. I was actually hoping you were just going to go the Wild, your thoughts, like we'd planned out.
But I did see you actually taking a bite, so I was trying to help.
But I wanted you to, then I would go, wait a minute.
Well,
you're supposed to ask a longer question.
There's still 4 questions to go,
let's try that again.
Well, there's still 4 questions to go. Can you answer this one?
Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
Good point.
I don't know what to think. Well, here's what I'll tell you about the Wild. They're an injury-riddled unit. And despite that fact, they continue to keep battling. Now, they lost last night, but that's a good club they lost to last night. They lost to Dallas. Dallas is one of the better clubs in the National Hockey League last time I checked. They lose 3-0. They give up a couple of goals in, a 58-second span. Mm-hmm. I think it was Gus again between the pipes, right? It doesn't seem like Flowers getting a lot of playing time.
Gus was the star of the week.
That's
right?
it. Yeah, he's when you go with the Gus that got you there, and so that's what they've been doing. But I'm all right. I know the people in the basketball community get annoyed with me because I pick on the Wolves a lot and rarely the Wild. To me, there's not a lot to pick on the Wild. They weren't expected to do anything this year. Now, you can hold me to this because I do say this. Expectations can change as the season goes by. Just because you think you're a terrible team in a terrible city with terrible fans and a terrible stadium to start the year, then all of a sudden you win a bunch of games. Well, then I reserve the right to change my expectations. And the Wild got out of the gate and were brilliant, so my expectations did go up. But you take off 3 or 4 of your best players off the club and continue to play game after game, night after night. They're basically their slogan should be, let's just tread water. And that's what they're doing right now. And hopefully they'll get Kaprizov back and Eck and the rest. And then we get to postseason play, and it's a chip and a chair and a chance.
I got to admit, I'm impressed.
Yeah, see, I know
if you have to, you know what you're talking about. And you know a lot about goaltending. It's obvious.
Well, I played, as a matter of fact, I could have been the greatest goaltender in the history of the National Hockey League if I'd learned one simple and really most important part of playing hockey.
Skating.
I never learned to skate. I was a great boot hockey goaltender.
No, I saw it firsthand.
Yeah, but I never learned how to skate, and that's the problem. So.
Well, we don't know about Chisholm tonight, and we don't know if Brodin's going to play, but the Wild are back in action against the Golden Knights tonight. Pre-game with Kevin Fallon at 6:45. Tip-off from the fuse box, as somebody likes to call it, tonight at 7 right here on The Fan.
Question number 2.
Common Man, the Timberwolves. Your thoughts?
Well, what do you mean my thoughts? You're supposed to ask a longer question.
Well, I, again, wasn't expecting you to be eating while you're on the air. I can't imagine there's a lot of other radio guys that do that.
The Wolves are worthy of an entire segment again, so I don't want to...
they lost, the Pacers. They lost the Pacers last night, 119-103. Ant maybe got hurt his thumb. 111 from 3.
Here's what I didn't see anywhere, unless they've updated the story. He had a laceration on his hand. When did that happen? During the game? Before the game? There was nothing I saw, and I guess I can scour the waiver wire again. But in the story I saw this morning, there was no mention. Just said he had a hand laceration. Okay, well, hello, how did that happen? Aren't you careful with it? I don't know. So I'd like to find that out. But they the quote was there again. This is like the third loss in a row in which somebody on the team says, well, the other team just tried harder than us.
You hate that one.
Well, that's just their comeback every time now. It's like, when are you going to learn that you have to try hard? Effort is, there's no way the other team on the other side of the floor, the court, the ice, whatever the case may be, should try harder than you. You can all try as hard. If you try as hard as you can and lose, that's one thing. But if you just go, we didn't. I mean, think about that. Think about when we have our post-show meetings, and I walk in there daily, and we go over what I've done, and you say, I didn't really like what I heard today, and I say, well, I didn't try very hard either. You're not happy with that. If I look
just used to it,
yeah. But if I say to you, I tried as hard as I could, at least I may not have been good enough, but I tried. How can you not try hard enough? It's to
maybe
me.
They will Friday when they're back in action against the Suns.
Well, and here's the question that I have for the basketball community that told me to just calm down, stick to wheel a topic. They just need time to gel. That's what I was told with the new guys on the team. When's that going to start? Because guess what? We've only got like 10 games left. So if we're going to start gelling, I'd start gelling right about now is what I would do.
They have lost 3 of 4. Now we're in 8th in the NBA Western Conference playoff picture.
But just wait. They'll start gelling eventually. Just give them time to gel. Okay.
Question number 3.
We're gonna win, Twins. We're gonna score.
It's now time to delve deep into Twins territory.
You read it, didn't you?
About the owner?
Yeah. Is that what we're getting to?
Talk about being compromised. They're trying to finance a bunch of different things through the Twins. And so the Pohlads are asking for at least $1.7 billion as they continue to search for a new owner for their club, according to The Athletic. Your thoughts? Did you just take another bite? You took another bite. Well, we're going to break in a couple minutes.
The funniest part is it says in there, too, that Joe Pohlad, who ran the team last year, he took over. Jim finally turned over the day-to-day operations to Joe, his nephew. And apparently now Joe still wants to run the club. They want to sell it, but he still wants to run it. That would be me like saying, I'd like to sell that house, that Potato likes.
She likes it.
She likes that house. Yeah. I'm going to sell my house, but I still want to live there. I mean, have you ever heard of anything more preposterous? And you're like, no, we don't. We want to run the club. We've seen what you've done. We don't like what you've done. If I buy the team, I want to run the team. I'm not going to keep you on as the general manager. Have you ever heard of anything more preposterous in your life?
No, that's a new one. That's a new one as it continues to twist and turn for the Twins. That's a new one.
Think about it. He still wants to run the club. I don't think they're going to sell the club now. And I was naive.
$1.7 billion is a big asking price right now.
That's probably the going rate, though.
Yeah, but there's a lot of loose ends in this this price tag than there is for other teams.
There are indeed. Celtics went for $6 billion. You saw that, didn't you?
It's unbelievable
for a basketball team. Who would want to inherit? Who would want to pay $6 billion for that mess? Well, they do try. They give it everything they got.
And that's it for today's edition of 5 Questions. Well, actually 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
Guess what I got coming up on the other side of the break?
Oh, tell me.
What do you think it is?
It's not controversial Vikings news, is it?
You are correct.
And nobody pays off controversial Vikings news like the Common Man.
That is correct. Controversial Vikings news is next. On the side of the break, Common Man Program on the Fan.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you want to get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
At Amica Insurance, we know it's more than just a car. It's the 2-door coupe that was there for your first drive. The hatchback that took you cross-country and back. And the minivan that tackles the weekly carpool. For the cars you couldn't live without, trust Amica Auto Insurance. Amica. Empathy is our best policy.
Struggling to get out of bed? It might be time for an upgrade. Leesa makes exceptionally comfortable mattresses designed for every body and budget. But what truly sets them apart is their commitment to giving back. Since 2015, they've donated over 41,000 mattresses nationwide. Elevate your sleep and your space with Leesa. Go to Leesa.com for 20% off their award-winning mattresses, plus an extra $50 off with promo code iHeart. That's LEESA.com. Promo code iHeart for an extra $50 off.
When it comes to playtime, never let your squad down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Push your gameplay beyond performance with 13th Gen Intel Core processors. Upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E. And maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search and head to Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.
Past Common Man Program. I'm Common. He is Chad Abbott in for Teneby. Teneby will make his triumphant return next week. A number of people are weighing in on the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line on a number of the topics we've addressed today, including Chad seems a bit nervous in the service. Take a deep breath, young man. You're a professional.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous.
I could see
Can you see it on my face?
We could see, and we could sense it in your delivery here too.
Can you really?
Well, yeah, you're working the Grum today. I mean,
a lot of people said I'd never work the Grum.
That's exactly. Oh, sure, you can run the board for the power trip or for Barney the Purple Dinosaur, big ticket, but you'll never run the board.
That's
for
what
the
they said.
Man.
Look at me now.
And look at you now.
Look at me now.
This one says, so instead of Common's golf game talk, the program director decided to start the Grum by airing a stale, boring, cliched-filled, hope-selling introductory news conference. Well, there goes the 20 share. Don't you love it when the listeners get it?
Yeah, you do have listeners that get it. I'll give you that.
We did start the day with the news conference from the Athletes Village. It's official, former Colorado State coach. He was just the coach this past Sunday. He's now the head coach of the Minnesota Golden Gophers men's basketball team. Held his introductory news conference. I think everybody knows the background already. Went to Roseville High School, graduated there, was student manager with the Gophers. He coached at Furman, at Drake as a head coach, went to CSU and did a nice job there, and he's now the head Gopher coach.
Welcome home.
Welcome home. I did a little insiding.
Really?
Well, I just went to StarTrib.com and looked at the story that Joe Christensen wrote for my research.
Okay, Fish Wrap Factory, West Side, got it.
New Gophers men's basketball coach Nico Medved will make...
You beat me to it.
$3 million in the first year of a 6-year deal at Minnesota with a $100,000 raise each season.
Wow.
Which sounds like a lot.
That's a fillet. That's not London boil.
No, well, it in the world of Big Ten basketball coaches,
that's true.
It is London broil. As a matter of fact, it might just be Sloppy Joe. It says, before he was fired, Ben Johnson was the lowest paid men's basketball coach in the Big Ten last season, making $1.95 million. Medved's new $3 million salary would have ranked 17th in the 18-team conference.
Man, Ben was really getting London Boyle.
Yeah, really, yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I mean, they needed to get nil money just for the coach.
Yeah, in all honesty, yeah.
$3 million. Now, and again, $3 million ain't going to get you to the grave, foo, but that's pretty good money for coaching basketball. But it does go to show you.
Money.
It is walking around money, but it does go to show you that the Gophers aren't doling it out like some of these other clubs. And I don't know what the highest salary, I mean, I can't even name 4 other Big Ten coaches. But obviously,
I would imagine Izzo's making some good money.
Izzo's been making big money. Yeah, he's making big money, big prizes, and there's probably a handful of others making really good money. But he's only going to be, even at this price range, who's the guy he passed up? Who's the guy that's now going to be in the bottom, unless there are raises, come into play or whatever. But, it says that Medved will be 17th out of 18 with this $3 million salary. Going to, if you'd have been coaching last year. Yeah. I wonder who is...
Northwestern, Penn State, one of those schools?
Yeah, could very well be. So there you go. The Gophers will cover up to $3.1 million to buy out Medved's contract from Colorado State. So there's more money that they have to dole out. Medved, who made $1.7 this season at CSU, will receive a 1-year extension if the Gophers do at least one of the following in a season. Make the NCAA tournament. We set our sights high here in the state of Minnesota. Win the Big Ten regular season or tournament.
What are you laughing at?
I'm sorry. No, we can do that.
Yeah, we could.
And we can build this thing together. Win the Big Ten regular season or tournament title or finish in the top 4 in the Big Ten. The Gophers' assistant coaching pool for Medved's 5 assistants will be $2 million. Now, do you think that'll be spread equally amongst the 5, or do you think they'll, is there like a first assistant and those kinds of things?
Yeah, like if I had that much money, I wouldn't give you guys all the same amount equally.
Yeah, no, of course not. I realize that already. Trust me. $2 million divided by 5 is what? Can you do math? I'm really bad at math. If he divided it equally between 5.
Yeah, I don't know.
Would that be $200,000 a piece?
A fool. Yep.
That's not bad for
that's better than walking around.
Yeah,
money.
Just talking about dribbling and shooting.
Every time there's a timeout, you stand up, you straighten out your suit, you give him the clipboard.
Yeah, right. Then you sit back down, and then you restrain the coach when he's trying to charge out at the referees. He's about to get teed up, right?
Yep. You're the first to give a fist bump to the guy coming off the bench.
That's correct.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good gig if you can get it. You've coached at a pretty high level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I coached basketball, too.
You did coach basketball, didn't you?
Yeah.
2 twist Raven.
Don't tell them. Please don't give those out. There's certain things I tell you in
I'm sorry.
In confidence.
Yeah. So, but, Yeah, so the money, again, will come with success, I guess, but that's still not. I mean, he made, what did it say? He made 1.7 last season, so not quite doubling his salary, but pretty close.
What'd you say Ben made? Just over 2?
Ben was making just under 2. He was making 1.95 million.
Yeah, I'm looking at a chart from the beginning of the year, and I don't know who he was ahead of. I can't find anybody.
Because it said that there was one that was...
I'm sure there is.
Yeah. So nonetheless, that's the money. For those of you who missed it, it was rather... I'm not ripping the guy.
Supposed to say?
No, I know. I'm not ripping the guy. I'm just saying it was very, hey, I think we can do it here in Minnesota. There's a lot of good talent here. We need nil money. He did say that he thinks the barn can be an advantage. He doesn't. And, I've always...
Yeah, where do you stand? I don't even know where you stand, what camp you're in.
The camp I'm in is, I sort of finally, for the first time ever, about a week ago, said maybe it's time to blow it up and start something new. And I like the old state. I think it's cool. I think there's something about the nostalgia, the raised floor, the whole thing. But I've been to a handful of games there, and it's cramped. There's not a lot of room there. It's not they don't have all the amenities you would have at a brand spanking new stadium. And then I don't know how do the players really care where they play?
I think they would care if it's full.
Yeah.
Wherever it is full. You could have a brand new stadium, but if it's empty, then it doesn't have a good vibe.
Yeah, because the only thing about a brand new stadium as a player is if you really want a big spacious locker room, I guess, if that's important to you.
And their locker room's pretty nice.
Is it pretty nice?
Yeah. I'm sure it sounds good as everybody else. But
right.
I can't imagine the players. But here's the thing. How many kids that age, your boys are right in that wheelhouse, care about the barn in the way that old folks like you and I might?
They don't.
Yeah, they don't care.
No, they don't. They don't know. They don't
remember it as a packed place.
No.
Yeah.
And Medved said, we can use it to our advantage. And I don't know if that's to make it a scary place or anything, but it's almost like getting ahead of it, saying, I'm not going to be asking for a new stadium right away or maybe even at all. And I just don't think there's just never been any movement towards that, has there? I've never heard in all the discussions about, it seems like it happens every year, is the barn a positive or a negative? Does it need to go or should it stay? And everybody, I think if you go by, and you can't just go by message boards on the websites or by the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line, et cetera, but most people do think the barn is a detriment. They don't like it. Most people would rather have, and I guess really, as a fan, you would like a bit more space and the suites better and such like that, but I don't think it matters that much to the average
It might matter some boosters, right? They get a fancy suite. There's not a lot of, the lofts aren't the suites that the other stadiums are. But now you have the Wild looking for some help with the X. You have the Wolves looking for some help for the Target Center. Now they'd be third in line for a new arena.
And you know what else? I think US Bank Stadium needs a makeover too.
Well,
I mean, it's only been there how many years has it been there now?
So you should probably go. You want some tickets next year? How about a press pass? What if I get you a press pass to every stadium and you do this summer? This is a good idea. There's still time with the Wolves and the Wild. I'll get you a press pass for those. You can go take some pictures, get some thoughts on what you think with those stadiums. Improvements should be made. Get you into Williams Arena. We'll go to the Vikings.
Well, you're breaking up. You
have no interest.
No, I have no interest in going
whether
to
it's
games.
Old or new.
No, I have no interest in going to games. I've been there and I've done that. Leave that up to Rosie. He still enjoys going to games.
You have been to some pretty significant games in your career. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Have you ever told that story?
Which one?
91 World Series.
Oh, you mean 5 minutes after Game 7,
Yeah.
the greatest Game 7 World Series history? I was on the field slapping big black Jack Morris on the back. I was there.
Have you ever told that story?
Yeah, well, I maybe have mentioned it.
You don't talk about
twice.
yourself nearly
No.
enough. I mean, you've overcome some demons in your life. You've been in some big games.
The best part about 5 minutes after was so we're in the dugout after so this is after all the pomp and circumstance. So the team wins. They're celebrating out on the field. The place is going crazy, right? And security wouldn't let any media out into the field for like about 5 or 10 minutes, right? Then all of a sudden they open the big gate by the big fans, that blow in and out depending upon if we're on offense or defense. So we go out onto the field, and then you're just kind of taking it all in, and I'm trotting around the warning track with big Blackjack Morris. I'm waving. I don't care about being a media member. I'm a fan because I've been waiting as long as everybody else, right?
So you duckied and bunnied yourself.
So I duckied and bunnied it up, and I was celebrating and slapping big Blackjack Morris on the back. As a matter of fact, if you look at video of the game, you can see me out on the field celebrating. We get into the dugout, and the media horde is surrounding Blackjack, and I'm sitting right next to him. And I look at him, and I go, Jack, I said, I get a feeling this World Series means more to you than the one in Detroit because your two young boys are old enough now to understand. And he just looked at me, and his eyes locked with mine, and he said, you're absolutely correct.
No.
I could see that, because I'm a journalist.
People think you don't know how to interview.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. What I was asking, I was, instead of just asking about the X's and O's and the strikeouts and the walks and the ERA and all that, I wanted to get the human side of it, right?
So it was a conversation.
It was more of a conversation, I guess you could call it, and I really wanted to try to see how he really felt deep down, what was really most important to him. And it was faith, family, then fastballs. Because the family part meant a lot to him because his two kids were there to enjoy it. Because when he won in Detroit, that was 1984, his kids were 3 and 1 or something like that. So they had no idea what it was all about. So they got to see big Blackjack Morris. That's like Bob Seger. You familiar with Bob Seger, Silver Bullet Band? Did a lot of great songs.
Yeah.
He did a lot of great songs, including, and I'm not even done with the night, Cherry Bomb, Don't Do Me Like That. Here Comes My Girl. He came out of retirement. You know why? Because he said, well, my kids never saw me do rock and roll. So I'm going to show them what Dad was all about. So he came out and it probably made multiple millions of dollars doing it, but he came out of retirement because he wanted his kids to see, this is what I used to do for a living. This is what it's about, kids.
I want my kids to see what I do. That's a good point.
My kids don't want to see what I do.
No, they've already seen it, and they're a little embarrassed by it.
Matter of fact, they always say, I get the same thing at home. Why would I need to? Baby Brother Peter's never listened to me on the radio. He has no reason to. He gets it at home all the time. Let's pause and come back. When we do, guess what we got coming on the other side of the break?
You said you'd pay off that controversial Vikings news.
Controversial Vikings news is next on The Fan.
At Amica Insurance, we know it's more than just a car. It's the two-door coupe that was there for your first drive, the hatchback that took you cross-country and back, and the minivan that tackles the weekly carpool. For the cars you couldn't live without, trust Amica Auto Insurance. Amica, empathy is our best policy.
Struggling to get out of bed? It might be time for an upgrade. Lisa makes exceptionally comfortable mattresses designed for every body and budget. But what truly sets them apart is their commitment to giving back. Since 2015, they've donated over 41,000 mattresses nationwide. Elevate your sleep in your space with Lisa. Go to lisa.com for 20% off their award-winning mattresses, plus an extra $50 off with promo code IHEART. That's LEESA.com. Promo code IHEART for an extra $50 off.
When it comes to playtime, never let your squad down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Push your gameplay beyond performance with 13th Gen Intel Core processors. Upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E. And maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search and head to Lenovo.com.
Lenovo. Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/iHeart. Greenlight.com/iHeart.
No liner, or don't you read Vibes?
Oh, yeah.
You forgot about Vibes, didn't you?
I don't even know where to find Vibes. Do you?
That sounds like a heck of a concert. I might want to show up with some friends.
We play that anytime there's a vibe that talks about a concert, we play that right away.
I have heard that part of your show.
Funny,
I don't listen to much of your show.
It seems like you've sort of steadied yourself. It sort of seems like...
I got my bearings back.
Yeah, you seem like you're starting to do the things you used to. The nerves seem to be gone after that text message.
No, the texter was right. I was really nervous.
Working on the Common Man program is a pretty big deal.
Again, a lot of people said I never worked the Common Man.
Yep. And you were one of them.
I was one of them. Even until 11:55. You saw me beg, Helvey.
It's so good. You were asking salespeople if you could give them a crash course on operating a control board. You so badly didn't want to do this.
I had Kara. Kara's like, well, I could skip a class if you really need me to. And for a second, I was like, yeah, you should skip.
Just skip.
But then, education kind of matters.
Yeah, but couldn't she have done one of those online things? She could have watched the class.
This show is too fast moving. She wouldn't have been able to pay attention.
That's true. It is kind of fast.
I mean, I can't wait for this controversial Vikings news you said you had.
It's the Vikings are a part of this. The overnight guy on that we run overnight on
Ben Maller?
I think it's Ben. I think someone told me that, or isn't there some guy Stephen Wright at night?
No.
There was another guy.
Stephen Wright was a comedian.
Yeah, but who was the other guy? Something Wright at night, I think was his name.
Years ago?
Yeah, maybe years ago.
Up all night with Todd Wright?
Yeah, is that who it is?
That was back when we were dumb enough to have ESPN radio.
Oh, so it isn't. It must be Mahler then.
Ben Maller, yeah.
Ben Maller said list radio is lazy radio. And who does more lists than the common man?
Nobody.
And it is lazy. But here's what I would...
it's lazy or stupid.
Or both. Well, here's what I would tell Ben. It's it's only lazy if you just use the list and just read what they say. But then when you talk about each item on the list and come up with something funny, then it's not lazy radio. Matter of fact, you're using your brain and you're actually working harder than just doing regular sports takes like, I really think Tampa Bay is going to struggle because of their middle relief, which I'm sure a lot of these guys.
It's like you're a gardener or something.
I'm a radio gardener. I'm not a radio architect.
Oh, I never heard you use that. Really?
Yeah, I haven't brought it up in a while. You take a seed, you throw it in the ground. That's why I can't plan things out. I can't put together this one we're do for each segment, because what if we get controversial Vikings news and I was supposed to talk Twins between 1:15 and 1:30?
Nobody can pivot like you.
That's it, and that's what I am. I'm the pivot master is what I am. Here's the headline of the story. I'm going to see who you think. CBS Sports. This is Cody Benjamin. Cody writes for he does he writes NFL. He does a really good job.
Of course he does.
This is about an hour ago. It's a 4-minute read. We needed an 8-minute read story to get to the top of the hour, but we'll just stretch the 4 to make it 6.5. Ranking the NFL's 5 biggest challengers to the Eagles prior to the upcoming draft. So, who does CBS Sports think is the team that has the best chance in the National Football League to upend the Philadelphia Eagles? Who do you think they're picking?
The Chiefs have to be up there, the Ravens.
But which team is number 1, do you think?
Chiefs.
Nope.
No. The Ravens.
Nope.
Is it an NFC team?
Yes.
Oh, the Rams.
Close.
Lions.
Commanders.
No.
Yes.
Well, they were pretty hot at the end of the year.
They got trounced in the 2024 NFC title game, but the fact they made it there at all speaks to the franchise-altering talent of Jaden Daniels, whose rookie year dynamism. Is that how you say it?
Sure.
Dynamism. He had a really good rookie year, was even more pronounced than, say, that of C.J. Stroud the year prior. Now Daniels has a sturdier left tackle in Laramie Tunsil and a Swiss Army knife in Deebo Samuel. You love the Swiss Army knife, don't you?
Everybody could use a Swiss Army knife.
To help fill out Dan Quinn's veteran-infused lineup. Number 2 on that list is the Cincinnati Bengals. And I think they're going by the way they closed out the season last year. If you remember, the Bengals had a terrible start to the season.
Yep.
I think they won, was it 8 of 10 or 10 of 12, whatever it was, to close out the season.
They just re-signed everybody.
They're loaded.
Mm-hmm.
And they got Joe Burrow, and
he can spin it.
Well, not only can he spin it, but if he's got to go to Burrowhead, you know what happens there.
Oh, yeah.
Then they have the Rams.
As third?
As third. Fluctuating between rebuild and reload in recent years. They took a page out of the Vikings playbook, right? competitive. They didn't call it a competitive rebuild in Los Angeles, but that's what they're doing.
Third.
Fluctuating between rebuild and reload in recent years, the Rams are pretty dependent on Matt Stafford staying healthy, or else it's Jimmy Garoppolo's show. The supporting cast is very enticing, though. Fresh off a scrappy playoff bid that almost saw their young, tenacious defense knock the Eagles off on the road, Devontae Adams gives Stafford a savvy safety valve opposite Puka Nacua.
Do you like watching Puka?
I like saying Puka
You
Nacua.
do.
And it took me a long time to pronounce it. How many years has he been in the league now? It took me until this year to be able to say it correctly.
Yeah, 3, I think. Yeah.
Think of this. Puka Nacua.
That's pretty good.
See how quick I can say it too now? I don't have to think it through.
Oh, you're a ball guy.
Puka Nacua.
Yeah, you're a ball guy.
I just missed it. Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua. Getting Devontae Adams is a pretty big get for the Rams. If you think, I mean...
But is he that much better than Cooper? Is he going to do more than Cooper?
I think so. I do. I think the Rams... You know me. You can use this next time you do one of your pep talks over when you're coaching football at St. Thomas.
Yeah.
Defense wins championships. You can use that.
Can I really?
Yeah.
I'm going to hold right in.
And that's
in the paper.
Why do you think the Rams got to the NFC Championship game? Because they play really good defense, so I do like their chances. The Motor City Kitties are number 4 on the list.
Time you guys get some respect.
Sturdy as he's been in Motown, Jared Goff had a couple of concerning outings as the Lions failed to capitalize on the NFC's number 1 playoff seed in 2024, including a turnover spree in the conference title game. Could the Magic run out there with coordinator Ben Johnson now gone? Possibly. Yet he still got arguably the NFL's most explosive weaponry, plus a grade A front in ultra-aggressive head coach. And Goff is that guy. I like him a little better than Cousins because I think he's got a bit more grit to him. And I'm not trying to be demeaning to Cousins, but I just think Goff's got that grit. He's been to a big game before. But I still think you got your top quarterbacks, and then you got the next guys, and even of that next 5, 6 guys, Goff might be at the bottom. And I like the guy. I mean, I'm a Kitties guy, but...
Yeah, but look at the quarterbacks ahead of him. You had Commanders guy, rookie Jaden Daniels, but he's only a rookie. They put him ahead of him. They put Burrow ahead of him. They're putting Stafford, who's at the back end of his career, ahead of him.
Correct.
Getting a respect.
He's not getting any respect. And I don't think their defense can get much worse than it was at the end of the season as long as they avoid injuries. People got so tired of me doing the old... you have your 4-6 defense, you have your purple people eaters, you have your doomsday defense, your killer bees, your fearsome foursome, and all the rest. They were the triple D defense, Detroit's decimated defense. I have the stats if you want them. No team since the Super Bowl era started in 1970 had as many defensive players knocked out and put on IR than the Detroit Lions did last year. They had nobody defensively. They were terrible. So if they can stay healthy, they should be good. They have Buffalo at number 5.
MVP guy, really.
Yeah, barring a surprise trade or blockbuster draft pick, Josh Allen is once again set to rely on a so-so receiver group, which is betting on ex-LA Charger reserve Joshua Palmer as the speed threat.
Who?
I have never heard of Joshua Palmer before. Still, as long as Josh Allen's upright, this team should be feisty. McDermott's defensive front also has the potential to take a big leap if Joey Bosa can stay healthy as Greg Russo's new running mate off the edge. You think those top 5 is about right?
I might put Buffalo a little bit ahead and Detroit a little bit. I can't see LA being tougher than Detroit this year, but maybe I'm wrong.
I wonder why Kansas City. I mean, they've always said as long as you got Pat Mahomes, you got a chance. But they have them under honorable mention. The next list is called honorable mention. Includes Tampa Bay, Kansas City, Houston, Baltimore, Green Bay, and the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings. Here's what it says. First of all, about Kansas City. It says, even though Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid are perennial locks to make noise in January, their lofty 2024 win total proved misleading on the biggest stage, where they were thoroughly and historically embarrassed by the Eagles. Since that loss, in which Mahomes had precious little space to operate, the Chiefs retained Trey Smith, but also jettisoned their most accomplished interior blocker in Joe, is it Thuney?
Thuney, I think? Yeah, I like that guy. He's good. Didn't he go to Chicago?
I think he did. Can Steve Spagnuolo's defense drive them again? This is the kind of things that'll keep you up at night wondering about Steve Spagnuolo's defense. It keeps me up at night wondering about this. Could a healthy Rashee Rice reinvigorate the offense? Sure, but this generation's dynasty suddenly feels a little more scrappy than special.
Really?
What do you think? Do you expect...
No. Winners win. Didn't you say that? Or didn't Medved say that at noon today?
He said tread water. No,
Coyle said winners win.
He said winners win. Medved said pedal the bike. No, it wasn't pedal the bike.
There's something about team. We're in it together. Welcome
team
home.
Together.
Team together.
Team together.
Yeah, that's it. So I don't know. I think Kansas City should be up there a little bit higher.
Here's what it says about Green Bay. They made the playoffs in 2024 despite Jordan Love and basically his entire receiving corps playing through injuries all year. LaFleur is a virtual lock to have this group playing January football. A lock, he says.
Okay.
Especially with Josh Jacobs' bruising ground game in tow. The only reason they're not in the top 5, their biggest reinforcement for Love's arsenal is McCole Hardman. That isn't saying much, right? He wouldn't even dress on Sundays for us.
No, maybe special team gunner.
Maybe.
I think they're lucky that they're going to have a third place schedule. That's where the Packers got lucky.
Yeah. Third place schedule is certainly helpful. Then they have the Ravens, who I think that's a little low for me.
That's what I told you. I guess them second. I agree.
Yeah, they're in the...
they're an honorable mention?
They're an honorable mention. So Lamar Jackson is the NFL's closest version of Superman. And Derrick Henry remaining a runaway train in 2024. Certainly they got a couple... they've got the upside to go all the way. Once again, however, Jackson doesn't have an eye-poppy receiving core. The aging DeAndre Hopkins is their Barrero edition, big ticket.
They call him big ticket?
Big ticket.
That's ours.
The secondary has questions, and number 8's yet to have a defining January run. And that is true. He's been brilliant in the regular season, but he's never had a terrific postseason.
When teams cage him, and they keep him in the pocket and don't allow him to use his feet.
We call that two-twist Raven.
That's what you call it, yeah. Can you imagine if Derrick Henry was on the same backfield as Saquon Barkley or a running back of that nature?
And then maybe throwing at Aaron Jones and maybe at Joe Mixon. And
never would happen. They would all want 20 carries. They would never do that.
Yeah, they would never want to. No, they would never want to. By the way, I don't know if you heard this over the weekend, but they were talking to did a little feature piece on Michigan State. And they said, Tom Izzo, I think he knows a thing or two about winning and putting teams together, I think. He went to all the guys on the team and said, we're going to play 10. Are you all okay with sharing the ball? We're not going to have any real stars on the team. They all said, we're all in. We want to win.
They were 40 for 60, weren't they?
And
seems like they're still playing, aren't they?
Matter of fact, I think they are. They're in the Sweet 16, and they're a number 2 seed.
Yeah.
So,
and that Richardson kid scored 2 points last game. That's the leading scorer.
That's correct. And it's because that was Tennessee's and everybody's big pushback. All these Eagles in the NFL, they all want to carry. Nobody wants to carry the rock 25 times. It just shortens your career by 5 years. You carry the ball 25 times in one season, you've just shortened your career by a season. So if you were due for 10 years, you're only going to play 5.
I'm going to tell you, most guys won't finish the season if they're carrying the ball 25 times.
That's exactly right. So all these guys would have been home. When you explain to me, say, Common, we're going to pay you the same thing, but we're only going to have you do a 90-minute show and see what I would say to that. No, I'd rather keep working 3.
Yeah,
Every NFL player would say, you mean I can make the same money I was making before? I only have to have work half as long? I'm in. They all would have said. Here's what it says about your Minnesota Vikings. We're not talking enough about the complete lineup that surrounds their quarterback, J.J. McCarthy. We're not talking enough about the complete lineup that surrounds their quarterback. J.J. McCarthy is obviously an unknown under center, provided the Vikings actually proceed with the 2024 first rounder as their guy. But the quarterback whisperer, Kevin O'Connell, now has a fortified front on both sides of the ball, with Will Fries and Javon Hargrove helping beef up the trenches. Where are games won?
In the trenches. You've always said that.
Exactly. And what wins championships?
Defense. You've always said that, too.
Who's our defense coordinator?
Flo.
I think honorable mention is too low for this club. Though I will say this. It does depend on the learning curve for McCarthy. If he can develop and has the talent that the Jaden Daniels guy did, why can't the 2025, 2026, and notice I said 2026.
Because the Super Bowl's in 26.
Because we're playing in January for sure. But
I think the NFL schedule goes through the first week of January. Sorry. I understand the point you're trying to make. But
And now you threw me off.
Sorry to correct you.
See, and that's what 10-to-B does to me all the time, too. It throws me off.
By correcting you and giving you...
by something, but that's not even that big of a deal. No, we played 2 years in the league, comment. Whatever, 3, 4, 8, it doesn't...
No, you're
I'm
right.
on a
I'm
roll
sorry.
here.
Yeah, I buzzkilled because you're certainly were on a roll.
Okay.
Continue on.
What was I talking about? Why can't the 2025... 2026 Vikings version of the Vikings be the 2024-2025 Washington Commanders? There's nothing that says they can't.
I would argue he's got more pieces around him than Daniels does.
That is correct. But even if McCarthy doesn't have as much upside as a lot of people think, he's got the quarterback whisperer.
Oh yeah.
So, let's say on a 1 to 10 scale, McCarthy's a 7. He's a 9.
He's bumped up to a 9.
He's a 9 with Kevin coaching.
This Viking squad's starting to catch on.
Well, then I do like the defense. I mean, again, B-Flow, he knows his X's and O's. And the defense was pretty good last year. And can you imagine now when they are able to? It's no secret. You watch every game. You're there in the Minnesota Vikings radio booth. They get no pressure on the quarterback from the inside. None. Zero. It's always got to be the edge rusher. So as long as you take care of the edge, they had nothing to worry about.
Let me ask you something. Let me make a proposal to you.
Okay.
Vikings season. We could use some help in the broadcast. Vikings fan line. Would you be interested? I could ask Nordo.
What day do they play?
Well, a lot of them are on Sundays.
Oh, what a bad break. I'm busy on Faith on Sundays. I go to church.
But I'm assuming we'll have a Monday night game or two.
Mondays aren't real good either for me. That's kind of a bad day. Thursday nights is real sketchy. I don't think I can make that.
Last year we played the last game on Saturday.
Saturdays I got Tee to Green.
In January?
Oh, wait. I could do a Saturday game, maybe.
You're saying now if the Vikings play on Saturday after golf season in January, you'll do fan line?
No, I would just do the pregame show the first half and then leave.
All right, I'm going to hold you to that.
I ain't doing it, you know that. But look who just came in behind you.
Can we rip?
The legendary one, Mark Rosen. We'll see what he thinks about it. A lot of things have been happening since Mark Rosen joined us last. He's in studio with me next here on the Common Man Program on the Fan.
For some of us, personal finances aren't just personal. They include a lot more people than ourselves. Loved ones, neighbors, the communities we call home, and the causes we hold in our hearts. At Thrivent, we help plan your financial picture with the bigger picture in mind. Because even though our business is helping guide your finances, our ambition is to make it mean so much more. Thrivent, where money means more. Connect with us at Thrivent.com.
Some people say that Odoo business management software is like fertilizer, the way it promotes growth and all. But other people say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. And there's some people who would even say Odoo's individual software programs come together to build the perfect suite like building blocks. Well, Odoo is all of these things. Fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. So sign up now at odoo.com, ODOO.com.
Struggling to get out of bed? It might be time for an upgrade. Lisa makes exceptionally comfortable mattresses designed for every body and budget. But what truly sets them apart is their commitment to giving back. Since 2015, they've donated over 41,000 mattresses nationwide. Elevate your sleep in your space with Lisa. Go to lisa.com for 20% off their award-winning mattresses, plus an extra $50 off with promo code IHEART. That's LEESA.com. Promo code IHEART for an extra $50 off.
When it comes to playtime, never let your squad down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Push your gameplay beyond performance with 13th Gen Intel Core processors. Upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E. And maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search and head to Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.